Okay, so one small thing that we probably should have done while the motor was out, because it would have been so much easier, is putting on the accessory belt tensioner, Serpentine belt tensioner. It just, the little hydraulic part slides onto this stud, and then you put in the bolt here that goes into the timing cover. That's a 17 millimeter head on that one. And actually, to make it work, I unbolted the motor mount, these two 14 millimeter bolts right here, or 14 millimeter head, and put a jack under it and lifted it up a little so that I could get this bolt to go in. Otherwise it hits the frame. So that was the trick for that one. And otherwise it's real straightforward, just one nut, one bolt, and then later we'll set it up to put the belt on. Okay, so for the tensioner, there's the bolt that mounts it into the timing cover. There's the nut for the hydraulic little whatever that is, actuator, absorber, tensioner piece. Dampener. Oh yeah, there you go. It's a dampener. So yeah, that one just slides over the stud, and there's the nut that holds it down. That one should be a 12 millimeter. All right, there we go. Nice and snug and ready to go. All right, so I set the motor back down. I took the jack out, and it just sits right back into place. Just gotta tighten the bolts on the mount to the frame. So now we're gonna just bolt the exhaust back to the manifold, and there's just these two bolts that are holding it together. Okay, one. Oh, over here. Here, I'll make it a lot quicker, but here's what's down there. So go back to the trick. Down there. There you go. Okay. Alright, so I went ahead and put on the Serpentine belt. For some reason this car doesn't seem to have a diagram anyway, but you can always look it up online, I suppose. So anyways, the trick that I did, because you have to really put some force on the tensioner, and you have to push it to the right, which normally is tight, but in this case it's loose. So I use it's a 19 millimeter that you have to grab onto right here, and then I just used another wrench and yanked on it, and then you slip the belt. The last thing that I did was to slip the belt over the tensioner pulley, and because you don't want to put it on, you don't want to do any of the ribbed connections as your last stop. You want to either do it over the water pump, because that's a smooth pulley, or the tensioner pulley, because that one's smooth as well. And then once it's all lined up, just release it, and that's it. Might be a little tricky, might be a headache, but it's not impossible.
Should be the same video as the other Corolla.
Yeah, we have one that's more detailed for our 2001 Corolla, so you can check that out as well. Okay, so now, see, what I did is I just completely removed the wiring, so that protects you from having any issues with snags or breaking anything. But then you have this fun task of putting it all back in. Alright, so we're starting to run the wiring back in. You gotta make sure that you run it between the AC lines so that everything works out. getting this grommet in. I'm probably gonna go back in the garage and get some WD-40 so I can get this grommet to slide into place. It has an interesting shape to it. You gotta tuck in these little tabs that are sticking out. Alright, so we're in the finagling process here. Now I realize that this harness bolts down with the manifold right on top. So gotta just kind of spin these brackets out of the way, and we're gonna continue to put everything in place here. The harness bolts down to the valve cover right here, which is a little tricky because getting a wrench in there is not super easy. Here we go. This is where the little ratcheting wrench will probably help. There we go. Just another tedious detail. Yeah. Alright, so we got this thing firmly mounted there. There we go. The VVTi oil control valve there. Alright, then we gotta hook up some other stuff. You can see that one. Ooh, that snaps in there. Goes to the knock sensor. And what else do we have going on? There we go. We need to figure out where these go.
Go back to the start. The oil pressure sensor.
Oh yeah, our missing oil pressure sensor. That one's gonna want to go boom right there. But we need a sensor. And this one hooks to the crank sensor right here, which actually wraps around and goes down to the crankshaft. Alright, there's that. And this one clamps onto something. Probably there. Oh, there we go. That'll work. Clamp it onto the oil dipstick tube. And then we're going to have to plug that in, but we're missing our sensor. Yeah, see, this would be like horrible to try to do with the manifold in place. Alright, then we got to hook up the alternator. And this one goes down to the air conditioning compressor. This clips into this bracket on the alternator. You can see that everything basically just falls into place once you have it in the right location. Alright, put the cap over it. Alright, so we're looking good. Starting to make progress. This one, the coil section goes into place on these studs in the valve cover. So, but you gotta bolt this thing down before you can plug them in, because the plugs will block the nuts that'll hold it down. There we go. Just need a couple 10 millimeters. Honestly, don't know what happened to them originally. Or these could be the ones. And I just stuck them in the garage. There we go. And you can plug the coils in. There we go. Alright. We're going to have to figure out all the details on this side, on the transmission end. But for now, this tape came undone. It's kind of ugly. Let's have to put some new tape on that. Sometimes heat deteriorates things, so then you have something like that happening. So we just need to get some new electrical tape to secure that. But overall, not bad. Alright, so let's switch that one in. Slowly but surely. Okay.
I think
That's the one for the oxygen sensor. Yeah. Which way does it face? That way. Kind of want to twist it so it stays away from the exhaust. There we go. Now it wants to stay away. Further from heat, the better. Alright. Oh, here we go. Where there's stuff that at least we can tell where it's supposed to go, but they cut the old ones at the junkyard, so we gotta undo those too. Okay, some more junk. And some ground wires there. Yeah. Alright, then we got another ground wire we gotta take out. She's not too bad. Kinda just falls in place, sort of. We'll see where we miss a step sooner or later. Okay. Let's see what goes where. Oh, we got a bracket. We've got a bracket.
The light gray, what's the light gray?
Yeah.
Dark gray.
Good point. Okay. Yeah, you can see the connectors match up by the color, which is nice. Alright. So now, just gotta figure out this whole transmission section, and then we got the fuse box section here. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Oh, and we got to deal with heater hoses. We can probably put those in later. Okay. Oh, that's for the idle air controller, which is going to sit right about there with the intake manifold. Alright, we might actually be able to put our manifold back. Well, first let's hook up the starter. Oh, and we gotta still put our missing, because it was busted and I had to take it out, oil pressure sensor. Yeah. Just gotta squeeze this boot out of the way. Get this thing to thread. There we go. Why is this not fitting? There we go. Okay. So now we got our starter hooked up. And we gotta still do this little task of getting the oil pressure switch in there. So gotta put in this oil pressure switch sensor thing. It's gonna put a little Loctite on it. I don't want any oil leaking out of there. It's like an ancient bottle of Loctite from the 70s or something. Okay. Where is my ratchet? It's over here. Okay. So this is a 24 millimeter. Just gonna try to tighten it back into where point where it was, and to where it lines up with the connector. So I think it should go a little more. How the hell is that? Oh, there we go. Might as well crank it a little more. Don't want it to leak. There we go. Feels like it's getting snug. And there we go. Got the connector on. Looks nice. Okay. What do you think? Should we put the we gotta connect the air conditioning plug in. There we go. Alright, so we got everything hooked up in the front. So now we can probably slap in the manifold. Probably shouldn't say words like slap it in, because it doesn't sound very professional. I don't know why I'm talking like this. Alright. So, we got some interesting stuff going on here. This needs to kind of flip around this way, because these plugs go up to the fuse box. This sucker goes down here. So I clipped in the transmission stuff. Here's another connector, which probably should go to a bracket that I don't know what I did with. Alright, here's the battery stuff. Let's see. Then we got oh, this is gonna be for the mass airflow sensor and this evap solenoid. That's gonna go get hooked up when the air box comes back in. Here's our upper radiator hose, which I didn't want to put on until I had the harness in place, which was a good idea. Pat myself on the back. Alright. Yeah, so that's gonna end up going like that. Alright, let's see. There we go. Yeah, I'll probably wait, because you gotta hook up a hose right there. Don't want to cause more headaches for myself. And let's see. Oh, that's gonna clip in right there. Yeah. Alright. Oh, and that one clips in right there. And then this one, you can see, is gonna line up right here. Ground wire. Oh, and I can see, oh yeah, damn it. We gotta do our cable, shifter cable. Let's see, how's that gonna coordinate? Oh, look, there you go. Goes like that. Let's see. How's this all gonna come together? I think that needs to go underneath. And then it clips into there. Man, definitely a puzzle. Okay, shifter cable. Oh, we have to hook up the shifter cable. That also would help. Okay. There we go. Thank you for the assistance. Alright, there we go. So we got our cable in place. As you can see, the upper radiator hose is going to clip in there. And let's see, we need to tighten these bolts that mount the cable bracket, but those are 14, so I need a 14. There, that's a better setup. Alright, shifter cable's in position. So let's see, another thing we're gonna have to do is get these main electrical connections back together. Dun, dun, dun. Let's see. There we go. That is much nicer. Yeah. See? There you go. Can't even remember where things went, but you can figure it out. Oh, now this needs to wedge into here. That's the fun part. Yeah, look at that. So we gotta hook this bad boy in. It's just a plug for the fan. And then it pops in right there. And let's see, what else do we need to figure out? We need to figure out where these ground wires go.
Right there.
Well, so there's a little hole where the little tab drops into, so you can see how it lines up. Can you see it? Yeah, there you go. See, there's a hole where the tab lines up right there. There we go. And then we have this other ground wire that we need to find a home for. Let's see, we got one ground wire down here. That one's for sure. There, that one's there. Okay, then we got this bad boy. This sucker must strap to the motor because it's bolted to the body on the other side. Where do... Oh, right here. There we go. See, that one lines up right there beautifully. See, well, at least with Toyotas and some cars, things actually make sense. So you can figure out where stuff goes even if you're totally lost and confused. Which is not a good way to go, but there we go. Okay, so we're gonna just tighten that one down. There we go. All the ground wires are in place. Well, except for the main one to the battery. So let's put this intake manifold in. Gonna have to just get it under the wiring harness clip there. Oh, careful with your gasket. I almost popped the gasket out of place. Oh yeah, and then you want to get it on the correct side of your dipstick tube there. Okay. So, oh, gotta get that hose under there. Alright, just be careful with that gasket. Definitely don't want to get that knocked out of place. Oh yeah, that was the harness. Bad call. Harness needs to be under manifold. Yeah. Just kind of jam it in there. There we go. Now it's not even rubbing on it. Just kind of push it in. Okay. There we go. Now, just need to bolt it in. I think the gasket's still in place. You can see the gasket is in place by the OEM gasket actually has these little pink paint marks so you can see that it's in position, which is really nice. Because with the harness in the way and the fuel rail in the way, it can be hard to tell what the heck's going on. Alright, so now, ooh yeah, now's where we get to line up those brackets for the wiring harness. Alright, line that up. Oh, wait, it's not. Okay, take it out with that. You know that. See, it's all in there. You know that. Okay. Let's see. There's a hole right there. Right there. Why is that? It's time for the question to figure out where to move that. There's something out there. It's like road. Road is that way. This one's actually pretty. Oh man. Alright, there we go. Support brackets mounted up. Let's see what else we can do. Let's see. I think that needs to go. Does it need to go under? Over? What do we need to do here? And probably like that. I don't know if that should go over it. This one needs to go into the throttle position sensor. Yeah, that probably makes sense. So, something like that. Could still need to go under. Yeah, I would say like that. Then we need to get these guys in. Okay, there we go. Need to get the pliers. Get that clip on. Okay, then do that one. Get that clip on. Okay, I think that's about right. I have to get it in the best position possible. Okay, probably just being too picky. Oh, see, then you got, that's where you got the bent needle nose for stuff like this. Okay. Then, instead of making a black smudge on my face, let's put that one in there. And these hose clamp pliers should do the trick. Alright, I think that's good to go. Now what? Let's see. Put the upper radiator hose on. Oh, we're gonna have to do our heater hoses as well. Let's see. This shifter cable is clips against the hose there. Alright. Yeah. Oh, slipped. It's not working. There we go. Well, sometimes you can help yourself by putting some WD-40 on. And I'll make it slide into place. There. Oh yeah, there we go. There, see? That worked great. Alright, oh, and the other clamp, that would help. Yeah, this was clamp one side. Well, this one is much easier to do whenever. The other one, as you can see, was tightly fit back in there. I didn't even change the radiator hoses because, you know, Toyota radiator hoses rarely fail. They gotta have about a bajillion miles on them before they go wrong. Okay, so the bracket. What do we have going on? Okay, so this is where you gotta get tricky with the smog stuff. There's evap parts that go over here. I gotta uncut that. Let me see. Oh ho 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 ho. That's what that does. Okay, now I'm giving myself a tight workspace, but whatever. Okay. Oh, and I have heater hoses to deal with. Yeah, this part's all fun down in here. Okay, so the clip that I was wondering about is actually this bracket. What did I do with the nut? That's it right there. I'm in the bolt. Okay, so this wobble extension should be helpful with this. Okay. Alright, then we're supposed to clip that in there. Then, let's see here. Oh, might have goofed that up slightly. Just gotta take it back off the bracket. Run these wires the other side of that cable. Alright, so there we go. There's shifter cable in position. Get the harness in position here. Okay. Alright, so the rest of this is gonna go into place when the air box goes in. Oh, we also gotta do this guy, the backing line for the brake booster. Okay, there we go. Gotta put our battery bracket here. There we go. That makes sense. It's probably wasn't necessary to move. Looking back now. But we're sure to figure out transition off. So I got some space. Extension. There we go. On the side. Okay. The arrow is supposed to go toward the front. Alright, so we're just trying to place the heater hoses. Let's see. This is another case where WD-40 might help you. Gotta love this stuff. I'm gonna go spray it everywhere. So it dries up. There we go. Alright, that one's in place. Then we gotta get these clamps in place. Alright, we'll do the other one. The clamp's in a funky position, so gotta get it first. And put the hose on. And put the clamp in. Okay, there we go. Alright, so we're getting real close, but we're running out of time today. And we're gonna conclude next week. All we gotta do is put in the air box, put in the flywheel to the torque converter bolts, or drive plate to torque converter bolts, whatever you want to call it. Put in our battery, fill it up with coolant, and that's about it. We're gonna be done pretty quickly in the next session. And then oh yeah, I gotta put on the cover to make it beautiful, and I gotta do some little details, tape this up, whatever. Okay, so yeah, that's about it for now.